いきなりですけど、日本酒って英語で何と言うんでしょうか？朝簡単でしょ？ジャパニーズ酒ではないです。2020年のパンデミックがきっかけで日本酒にハマってしまいました。いろんな日本酒を飲んだりして本当に楽しかったです。ワインより全然奥が深くて本当に刺激的でした。でも、日本人の友達と日本酒について話したらよくOh, Arthur, you like Japanese sake? Oh yeah, Japanese sake is really nice. でもその友達だけではなく、日本人の方の多くは日本酒を英語で言いたいときに Japanese sake と言ってしまいます。じゃあ Japanese sake じゃなかったら何と言うんでしょうか？答えはです。皆さんこんにちは、アーサーです。今回のレッスンでは1、日本酒の英語の意外な言い方。2、なぜその言い方になるか。3、Japanese sake と実際に言ってもいい場面。そしておまけとして日本酒関連の英語をちょっと学びましょう。よろしくお願いします。So, how do you say 日本酒 in English? Shouldn't it be Japanese sake? I mean, 日本酒、日本の酒、Japan sake, Japanese sake でしょ？まあ、いつも通りに動画の最後でシェアします。No, actually, this time I'm going to say it right away. The way to say 日本酒 in English is sake. 酒？なんて言ってんの？朝、酒の英語の言い方は alcohol でしょ？
I really like sake.
あ、お酒好きなんだ。
No, not really, but I do like sake.
お酒好きってことだよね。
No, I mean, not really, I just like sake.
どういうこと？
Come on.
And I understand why you think that. It's logical to think that. I mean, the Japanese word osake, sake, is alcohol in English, so sake shouldn't mean nihonshu, right? Well, logically that makes sense, but remember, English isn't about logic. 英語の本来の目的は数学みたいに文章を組み立てるのではなく、自分の頭の中のイメージ、気持ち、情報、いわばメッセージを相手に伝えることです。It's to share your feelings, it's to share your emotions. In a lot of cases, when you think of English logically, it doesn't really make any sense. But if you think about it from a sense perspective and you just accept it as it is, it makes a lot of sense. It's a lot easier to learn. So let's get into why Nihonshu is sake in English. Normally, things that have to do with traditional Japanese culture that originate in Japan, in English, you tend to use the Japanese name for it. Things like karaoke, tsunami, bonsai, sushi, umami, okonomiyaki, takoyaki, teriyaki. Ooh, so many yaki. Oh, sorry. And that's kind of like with Nihonshu, right? I mean, Nihonshu originates in Japan. It's originally from Japan, so you want to use the native word for that. But the native word is Nihonshu, not sake, right? So why do you say sake in English? So this is not a history lesson, so don't quote me on this. But I think what happened was that when foreigners first went to Japan and they interacted with Japanese people, they tried Nihonshu and they asked, "What is this? Kore wa nan desu ka?" And then the other person said, "Osake desu," or just "sake desu," or just "sake." Ah, sake. And that's why in English it's sake and not nihonshu or something like that. I want you to be a little careful here. The word is sake, not sake. The word has become an English word, and so it needs to follow the English rules for pronunciation. So it's not sake, it's sake. And that might feel kind of strange to say at first, but the more you feel strange, probably the more accurately you're pronouncing it.
I really like sake.
酒ね。
No, sake.
酒。
Sake?
酒。
Sake?
酒。
Sake?
酒。
Sake?
酒。
And this is why when you say Japanese sake, it kind of can confuse native speakers because in their mind, sake is nihonshu. And if you say Japanese sake, it's like saying Nihon no nihonshu. Well, yeah, of course it's Japanese sake. I mean, it's sake, it's Japanese. So if you want to ask someone, Nihonshu ga suki desu ka? You should ask them, do you like sake? And if you want to ask, osake ga suki desu ka? You should ask, do you like alcohol or do you like drinking? By the way, this is a long time ago, but I made a video sharing about how English speakers, especially native English speakers from America, don't normally say, I like drinking alcohol, or they don't use the word alcohol too much. It's kind of interesting. You learn a bit about culture and you can check out the details for it here, or it's in the description box below. So for example, お酒はたまに飲みます. How would you say this in English? You would say, I drink occasionally. If you want to say 日本酒はたまに飲みます, in that case, you would say, I drink sake occasionally. ビールより日本酒が好きです. That would be, I like sake more than beer. So if that's the case in Japanese, sake means 日本の日本酒. When can you actually use Japanese sake in English? The only time it really makes sense is when you want to differentiate, when you want to 区別する between Japanese-made sake, 日本産の日本酒, and sake made in another country, 外国産の日本酒. You know, actually, the international demand for sake is growing year by year. It's growing really fast in America to the point where some famous major sake brands are actually setting up breweries in America. So in that case, if you ask someone, do you like sake? Their answer would be, oh yeah, I like sake. If you ask them, do you like Japanese sake? They may say, yeah, maybe, but I like American sake too. では、まとめに入りましょう。1、日本酒の英語の言い方は Japanese sake ではなく sake です。ポイントは英語発音です。sake ではなく sake です。2、Japanese sake は日本産の日本酒という意味になりますので、わざわざ区別していない限り sake がおすすめです。Alright, おまけとして let's look into some English words related to sake. So, 一升瓶 in English, what would you say for that? Well, there's no specific word, so you just say a 1.8 liter bottle.
Yeah, 1.8 liter bottle, let's party!
甘口と辛口どちらが好きですか? For 甘口 you can say sweet sake, and for 辛口 you can say dry sake, or dry or sweet. Personally, I like sweet sake. I'm not a huge fan of dry sake. Now, what about the word 精米部合? Well, there's not really one smooth, one defined way to say this, 精米部合, but you could say the rice milling percentage. I know that's really long to say, so when you want to give specific 精米部合, you can say this sake is milled 10%, 20%, 30%, like that. 麹は英語で何て言うんでしょうか? You can say malt. 米麹は rice malt になります。Now, what about 純米、吟醸、木本, and all these other really specialized words? Well, they don't have any real concepts in foreign countries, so you can just use the words as themselves. I like 純米 sake, I like 吟醸 sake, like that. Now, what's my favorite sake? Well, I have two, and I want to share them with you, but before that, I have another very important message for you. やっぱり日本酒を外国人と楽しめると、自分の英語力のためにもなるし、すごい楽しい時間になるはずですが、ほとんどの英会話レッスンは文法、単語、フレーズの知識にフォーカスするのですが、せっかく学ぶのにいきなり外国人と対面するってなると、頭が真っ白になって言葉が出てこなくて、全く話せなくなります。具体的にどうしたら英語を学ぶだけではなく実際に話せるようになって生の世界で外国人と実際に話せるようになるんでしょうか。そのために特別な英語学習法が必要です。その学習法を今回の動画でシェアすると長くなりますので、興味のある方はぜひこちらから無料レッスンをご利用ください。You can learn details about the lesson and how to actually speak in the real world with people, or you can get the lesson from the description box below. And my two favorite sake are Denshu from Aomori and Azakura from Akita. These are really great amakuchi, sweet sake, and they're the best that I've ever had. If you have an opportunity to try them, please check them out. As always, enjoy your English adventures. 一緒に世界とつながりましょう. See you guys next time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really like sake. That doesn't matter. I really like sake.
酒ね。
No, sake.
酒。
Sake?
酒。
Sake?
酒。
Sake?
Sake.
Sake?
酒。
Oh, this is weird. これで以上です。